Breaking news here. Looks like Xavier Worthy is in trouble, and looks like it could be a domestic abuse matter. However you want to sort that out. I'm not a legal guy, but I'm just looking at what we're seeing here from Twitter. Assaulted a family member, household member, pretty much choking them out. From what I'm reading here. Don't know much more about what happened. Looks like a household member, and they choked him out. He's listed at 5'11", 169. Looks like we added some size there, but still, not a good look going into the offseason. You get a good look at the mud shot here, definitely Xavier Worthy. But this just happened Friday night in Texas. Not looking good. Looking for other news here to see what happens. And looks like a lot of people are not very happy about that. And another thing to think about here, Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice for the Chiefs having legal issues. Are the Chiefs more likely to bring in Marquise Hollywood Brown back from free agency? Is that likely to happen? Or are they going to bring in another veteran with that? Because this is new, this is fresh. Free agency is right here. We got wide receivers to look at. We don't have a deep wide receiver class. Obviously, assault's not a good thing to have on the record right now going into year 2 of your NFL career. Obviously, it's not a good assault charge. And I do not know all the details. This is all the details I got. I'm showing my hand right here. This is all I know. That being said, when we think about this football-wise for the Chiefs, they got to make a move at wide receiver. They got to bring somebody else in because you do not know what Roger Goodell and company is going to be doing with Rashee Rice and his legal matters and what's going to be happening with him. We do not know what's going to be happening with Xavier Worthy. We don't know if they're going to be on the field for 2025, and now we're in this money period of the year where we can sign some free agents, and the market's going to be hot, and we can look at some of these draft prospects. I know the cap figure's tighter compared to a lot of other teams, so we can't really go willy-nilly with that. But Marquise Hollywood Brown, as we covered yesterday with the free agent wide receivers, we're looking at the PFF rankings and all that. For the wide receiver rankings on the free agency class this year, he's down there a little bit. Not super expensive. Has continuity with the team. Looked good in training camp. He's standout dude. Creates separation downfield. Was hurt all last season. Maybe they rock with him another year, and maybe they get a good contract out of him. That seems like the smartest choice. DeAndre Hopkins, whether or not you liked him or not, free agent as well, a veteran. And I get it, was not living up to his old school production. He's on the back nine of his career. But we're looking at a free agent class of older wide receivers, and we're looking at a rookie wide receiver class that is not as good as last year's class, especially on the top end, especially from round to round to round as we get deeper into the class. That being said, when you're looking at all that, the Chiefs got to make a move at wide receiver. They got to act fast if they want to add talent to this team. And if nothing happens, at least they got more talent on the team to work with when they get into the training camp. And then they got competition. They can figure things out. And if nothing happens to where they got these guys on the team and they can work with these guys, they just got more talent for the passing offense. Travis Kelce coming back on the back leg of his career as well. You gotta get prepared for that. But when we look at this is not a good look. I'm not going to take up for domestic abuse at all. Not at all. You don't put your hands on a woman. That's one thing you do not do, ever, ever, ever. And I do not know if that's the case or not. I don't know. I do not know half of what this says. But I do know we're in jail. We do know that this is not a good charge to have. We do know that it's very ambiguous right now because this news is hot off the press right now. Hot off the press right now. Everybody's reacting to it. What I would guess what the Chiefs would do is they're looking at a free agency class right in front of their face. They're looking at a draft coming up. We got some prospects coming. You might as well look at what's out there, see what happens. And when I'm thinking about this, if you want a Dynasty Fantasy Football reaction, I mean, there's going to be a little hit on like market or perception, but I don't know if anyone's going to be super liquid with them either. Like perception value down, liquidity in leagues, they're probably just going to hold to see what happens. and maybe react from there. And if something happens where there is a suspension, then you'll be able to swoop in. I get it. People will say that. Reactionary on social media, especially Twitter. There's a lot of dumb dudes on Twitter talking stock market and leagues when it's not real. That being said, like I always said, the main process is if you feel like there's a value change, kick the tires, see what happens. Either way, shape, or form, good, bad, ugly, arrest, injury, whatever you think. I've known people did that with Aaron Hernandez back in the day. It burned him pretty bad, but still, not a comparison, but talking Dynasty Fantasy Football strategy. Again, looking at Xavier Worthy, seeing what's happening with him for the long term for Dynasty Fantasy Football, and obviously just putting myself in the Chiefs' shoes right now. I know things are ambiguous with Rashee. I know things are now ambiguous with Xavier Worthy. I'm not going to be happy. I'm not going to be very irrational about this. I'm going to be very reactionary when it comes to the market. And I know the market's about to open up. And I know there's talent right there. So I'm going to be looking at that rather hard. I got continuity with Marquise Hollywood-Brown. I know he's sitting there. I'm probably going to sign him. So thinking about that for Dynasty Fantasy Football, you probably want to go get Marquise Hollywood-Brown if you can catch him on the cheap, if he's sitting there. But guess what? I'm not going to give him to you for free. You're paying a premium now. You should have did that last night. The night before. We went over this free agency class. I didn't really say it was a lock to go to the Chiefs. I guess I could have said something about that because in my head, there was a good chance for that due to continuity. Due to that and him being kind of cheap and a cheaper veteran and him looking good in training camp, which I did say. But still, he did good in training camp. He did well with Patrick Mahomes. He has continuity with him. Would not be surprised if he comes back. But the price is already up. Price is already up on Marquise Hollywood-Brown. People are speculating on that. I'm not the first person to say it. I'm not going to be the last either. People are looking at Marquise Hollywood-Brown very hard in the paint right now. Going back to the Chiefs. We're looking at the draft. They'll probably throw a mid-round pick at a wide receiver. Maybe a guy like Golden falls to them and they can make that selection. But again, burning another first-round pick after they burned a few second-round picks on wide receivers, made some other moves, maybe is not the best look, especially when they can just pick up continuity. And there's going to be good defenders and good offensive linemen. It's going to be very intriguing in the back end of that first round of the draft. Good running backs there as well, when the wide receiver pool is actually declining rapidly. That being said, free agency is probably the best bet for them if they want talent on the top end that can help their roster now, due to what they're seeing legally with these two wide receivers. That is the best bet for the now. Maybe they can hit gold on a wide receiver later, because wide receivers just coming out are just more technical compared to what they were like 5 to 10 years ago. There's a better baseline there of talent where you can find diamonds in the rough a little bit more easier than it was back in the day. I'm talking about 5 years ago being back in the day, but there's more potential for that. But if you need something for the now to help you in that passing offense, you got to get aggressive in this free agency class. You don't know what's coming at you. You do not know what's going to happen with these guys going into the season, how long they're going to be out. You need a good start to the season. You might be down 2 wide receivers, and you got wide receivers here you got to make a move on. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.